Alright, Shalom, Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Barasham, Yahweh, Barasham, Achak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great wisdom who rule well, pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Barasham, Yahweh. And salutations to you sincere Archimanders that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. So, what I'm going to start with, let me get it real quick. So like yeah, like it's a little bit brighter now, you know. But anyway, I forgot what I wanted to start with, so I have to just bring it out. Alright, okay. Let me get it down. Alright, here it is. I'm starting the book of Romans chapter 6. Now I'll start from verse 1 and it reads, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? The Most High forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? And this is actually beautiful right here because, you know, if you read this precept, Romans 6 verse 1, it says that what? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? This is what these plantation Christians are doing right now. You know, they're saying that, okay, that we are saved by grace, you know. We're no longer under the law. We are saved by grace, you know, this and that. Anyway, that's what they're saying, that we are saved by grace, you know. We're no longer under the law. We no longer need to follow the law. So now they're basically saying that they can live in sin. They can live in iniquity. And that's what you see going on in plantation Christianity and all over the world. But that's not the case, okay? That's not how... And then that's not how it works. That's not how it works, okay? Because even the same apostle, the same Paul said that, you know, that the law has dominion over a man for as long as he liveth. So now I'm going to continue. I want to get that Romans 6 in the Bible, in the main Bible, because, you know, my phone the screen isn't really that clear. But basically, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say, that, you know, the way that these Christians are living, you know, their doctrine, their false doctrine that they are pushing, and the law is no longer in effect. The law is done away with. That's all. That is all lies. Okay, it's normal. What I'm thinking of a precept right now, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, it's all what the lies of Christianity. Okay, all these foundation that that's basically the foundation that the Christian church is built on. Sin as much as you want, and then go to and then go to the Father. Okay, in this case, you know, starting with Catholicism, sin as much as you want, and then go to the Catholic priest and confess your sins, and they are clean. That is exactly the foundation that Christianity was built upon. Okay, because if you go into the history, in the Knights of the Templar, that's exactly what they did. They committed all these mass murders. They raped, they pillaged, they killed. Rapes, robbed, and murdered. You know, Esau's MO. But they raped, they pillaged, they killed. You know, so many Muslims. Okay, so many non-Christians, so many pagans. Okay, and in their minds, all they had to do to absolve themselves of those sins was to go to a Catholic priest, confess those sins, and they were clean. And then they went straight back into it, straight back into raping, straight back into murdering, straight back into killing. This is exactly how and that's exactly what the Christian mind state is. You know, they can be all kinds of demons, all kinds of wicked from Monday all the way up to Saturday. But on that Sunday, that venerable day of the sun, you know, they go to the church. They pray all their wickedness from Monday to Saturday away, and then they continue in their wickedness again the next week, and they continue on. There's no improvement, okay? There's no changing your ways. That's why, you know, and a lot of Akim will attest to this, you know. That's why when they were in the Christian church, you know, they were trying to get rid if they were trying to get rid of one demon or another, they could never, you know, they couldn't do it until they came into this truth. That's when they started, you know, that's when they started cleaning that house, you know, figuratively. Alright, because now so let me continue on. You know, that's not what I actually wanted to bring. I just wanted to touch on it a little bit, okay? So Romans 6 verse 2, and it reads, the Most High forbid, how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Know ye not that so many of us, as are baptized into Yahushua HaMashiach, are baptized into his death? And that is basically it, okay? You know, when we take that baptism of Yahushua, we are basically taking the baptism in his death, okay? Because how did we find life? How did we as a people, how did we as the Israelites come back to the Most High? Through the sacrifice of Yahushua, meaning that what? As he put himself on the cross, as he died, he said that it was finished, you know? He himself he died in the flesh, okay? His flesh died and his spirit was raised up. And that is actually figurative if you think about it, How Yahushua died, the death of Yahushua is pretty figurative. It's figurative to how our people should be, okay? We should kill off our flesh and live in the spirit, okay? Live in the spirit. And we know what I know what I have to get that. So let me get. Now it's the last time that I brought this out, and I love bringing it out. And I love bringing out these precepts. The book of Galatians chapter 5, and I'll start from verse 19. Galatians 5 verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revilings, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And it's funny because all these things that the Apostle Paul mentioned is what is glorified in this kingdom. Adultery is glorified in this kingdom, sexual liberation for the woman, which is something that we hate, okay? We hate on as much as possible in these truths, in great wisdom, because it's wickedness, okay? It is folly, it is wrong, in all different all kinds of ways. You can go into the scriptures, go into hundreds of precepts, that talk about the wickedness and the evil that is in adultery. And then the next one, fornication, which of course is talking about spiritual fornication, and also sexual fornication as well, or rather physical fornication, which is where you have your homosexuality, your transsexuality, okay, your pedophilia, that, and all the things that these elites love to get into. That's where all these things come from. And of course, in the spiritual aspect, idolatry, which is something huge that we get on. That's why we get on the Christians. Okay, we get on the Christians a lot, because what? They are worshiping an idol god and claiming that it's Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, okay? That's why we get on the Christians more than we get on all the other heathen. Because you can't just you can just say that you worship the Most High, but not want to worship him in the correct way. With 100% the way that he wants to be worshipped, but we want to worship him in the way that you want to worship him. Because that is exactly what these Christians are doing, man. They're worshiping the Most High on their terms, making it seem like the Most High is here to serve the Most High is here to serve them, when it's actually the other way around. They are here to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They're supposed to worship him the way he wants to be worshipped, okay? Not in the way that you want to worship him. So let me I think I have a precept for that. Anyway, I don't even need to go to a precept. The precept is simple. Now we should want to do the will of the Most High. That is how you worship Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, by doing his will. It's not written. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Okay, and what? I think it's I don't remember the second part. I have to get it. Like I meant to obey, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. All right, 1 Samuel 15, and I'll start from the 22nd chapter. 1 Samuel 15, verse 22. And Samuel said, "Hath Yahweh as great delight in burnt offering and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh?" And that's just plain right there, okay? Because you see these Christians, they want to give up arms to these church pastors, which of course we know that it's not going to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But they want to give arms. They want to do all. They want to say, "I'm going to be my brother's keeper." I'm going to do all these nice things. Go give to charity. I'm going to give. They're going to give to charity. They're going to give to their neighbor, be their brother's keeper. But at the end of the day, they are still eating abominable foods. They are still practicing that. They are still worshiping Cesare Borgia. They are still practicing all kinds of wickedness. That all your sacrifice at the end of the day, it becomes null and void simply because they're not following the will of the Most High. It's not written in the scriptures that the Most High does not hear the prayer of sinners. and you know that he hated the sinner. It's not written. So if you're committing a sin against Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, if you're going off and you are delighting, okay, if you're going off and you think that you are delighted, happy with the fact that you are going off, and that's your ass right there, okay. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to judge you heavily, and there's not going to be any amount of praying or crying or fasting that's going to save you. All right, so let me continue on. So Psalm 15 verse 22 again, and you read Psalm 15 verse 22, and I continue from where I stopped. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Okay, and that's basically it. Which of course, you know that the sacrifice is already done away with. But in this case, you know what that is telling you is that obedience is far better than sacrifice. Okay, just doing the will of the Most High is worth more than any sacrifice that you can give Him. Okay, it's worth more than any fast or any prayer or anything like that. You know, and then when you now add the fast, when you now add the prayer, when you now add coming out into the highways and byways, when you now add doing the work to that obedience, you know that's you know that's something that will make the Most High smile. Okay. That's something that delights the heart of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because what the scriptures say, and He Most High delighted in those that do His will, okay? Delighted in those that fear Him, those that obey His commandments. That's the only thing that we are put upon this earth to do. Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, the 13th verse, it tells you plain, okay? That's the only thing that we are put on this earth to do. To fear the Most High and to keep His commandments. Because that is our whole duty as men, okay? So continuing on, now what I was going into was the ways of the flesh, you know, and all that wickedness that is being done in this kingdom right now. And I was saying that, all these things are being glorified in this kingdom, and I was going through all of them. All right, I was going through all of them, but you can go through it your own time. You can see all the different ways in which they are being glorified in this kingdom, they are being magnified. Esau is basically making, Esau is, allowing all these people out here to do just that, okay? And now, Galatians 5, verse 22. But the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, and faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. Okay, so there is no law against these things, okay? There's no law that speaks against them. These are the fruits of the Spirit, you know? These are the fruits of the Spirit. And you know, when a Christian reads this, they'll think that it means, oh, you have to be soft spoken, you know, meek-hearted, you have to be weak and effeminate and all of that, you know. But that's not actually the case, man. It's telling you how you should, it's telling you how you should be in this truth. Have patience, suffer, have temperance, all going into what? Suffering, okay? And having what? Goodwill. The other words, optimism for the kingdom, you know, for what's soon to come. Alright? Love, and we know exactly what love is. Love of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Love of your neighbor, okay? And when you love the Most High, you love your neighbor. Guess what? You're going to keep all the laws, or at the very least, keep the laws to the best of your ability. Because what? You know that every single law that is written of in the scriptures is a sin against the Most High or a sin against your brother. And now we're going to who is your brother. You read the book of Deuteronomy, it tells you that what? Your brother is an Israelite, you know, your fellow Israelite, you know, because what? All these other nations aren't in that covenant, okay? They aren't a part of that covenant. The covenant that we made with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Even though these Christians will swear up and down, fight tooth and nail to try to prove that to fail to prove that these other nations can be involved in that covenant, or they have been inducted into the covenant, into the covenant, and they can serve the Most High. When that's not the case, okay? Written all over the scriptures. But anyway, going on. So from Galatians 5:24 now. And they that are Hamashiachs have crucified the flesh with their affections and lusts. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit, okay? And that's what I'm trying to get, you know. They are basically dead in the flesh, you know, we are dead outside, but we are alive on the inside. And that's the opposite for all the people that are out here in the world, okay? They are basically walking dead, you know. They are dead, they are basically walking dead. They are dead inside, you know, their spirit is dead. Their conscience is seared with a hot iron, and their flesh is the only thing that's alive. That's why you see them jumping from lust to lust, jumping from wickedness to wickedness, because the only thing they are focused on is satisfying the flesh, satisfying the outward man, while their inward man is perishing day by day. So just think of it this way: the spirit is the opposite of the flesh, the flesh is the opposite of the spirit. Which means that if you are in this truth, you are the opposite from you are the complete opposite from the two-third, from the two-third that are in the world. The same way that a drop is the opposite of a whole river. The same way that 1/3 is opposite of 2/3, okay? Because what? Because what these people out here that are dead out, that dead on the inside, that dead in the spirit, because they have this thing that they always say that they are basically dead inside, because they know that in the spirit, man, they are finished, they are through. Okay, but us that were out here, us that were doing this work are dead in the flesh, and that's what this lesson basically. That's what I wanted to get a little bit, that because I was pondering on it, and I read that precept in the book of Romans 6, and I felt like, I never really understood what it means, I did in Yahawashi. But now I finally do. I did on the outside, but our spirit is still alive. The same way that Yahawashi, his flesh was killed, but his spirit entered into the heavens and he received that glory. Okay, so he was. So all of us that were going into this treatment, we were following Yahawashi. And guess what? If Yahawashi jumps off a mountain, because how some friends say that if your friend does this or does that, will you follow him? Guess what? If Yahawashi jumps off a mountain, we are following him as well, as his men. The same way that Yahawashi died on the cross, and his spirit was lifted up. We are going to die as well on this cross. Okay, we are going to die on this, on our own cross, which is what, doing this work. We're going to die in this work, and guess what? When our spirit is taken up, we are taken up into the heavens to be with Yahawashi. So we're going to follow him in life and in death. And in his life, he was and in life, man, he was dead in the flesh. Okay, and the only thing that was alive was his spirit. It was the spirit to do the will of the Most High, the spirit to to do the will of him that sent him, the will of his Father, and we are the same way as well. Right, so continuing on. Right, so continuing on. Romans 6, verse 4, and it reads, "Therefore we are buried with him by the baptism into death, just like as Hamashiach was raised up from the dead by the glory of the Father. Even so, we also should walk in newness of life." Alright, and that's telling you that works, that when you repent, that you should be born again. I'll show you this, use the exact same parable that when you I know what I have to get that. Alright, so this is the book of John 3, and I'll start from verse 1. "There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahawashi by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except the Most High be with him. Yahawashi answered and said unto him, Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High." Alright, so you had a Pharisee that knew that Yahawashi was the Messiah because he saw the miracles. He saw the way that he taught with authority, and he knew that the Spirit has to be with him. The Messiah Yahweh has to be with this man. It has to be with this guy. This has to be the Messiah. And that's showing right there. And they were righteous Pharisees. Okay, they were Pharisees that knew the Messiah, that Yahawashi was the Messiah, the Hamashiach, and they wanted to follow him. Okay, so he came to him. He praised him. He praised him like you would somebody that has great authority. Said that you do all these great things through the Most High, that you have to be the Messiah. And then Yahawashi told him that unless you are born again, you cannot come into the kingdom of the Most High. And when people hear that kind of thing, they start thinking about being born, how it is done, going to your mother's womb, receiving your mother receiving seed. Alright, you being born in your mother's, you being conceived and grown as a fetus in your mother's womb. But that's what Yahawashi was talking about. He was talking about the spirit, okay? He was talking about being born again in the spirit. In other words, the brother Yawan, he said that you have to empty your cup, okay? That's exactly what Yahawashi is talking about. You have to be born again. Come into this thing anew like a babe, You have nothing in your mind. Your mind is completely wiped clean. And then you use this, and then you occupy your mind, okay? You occupy your thoughts with this word. And that's how you get this truth, man. Because you can't come into this truth thinking that, you can't come into this truth you're having an established doctrine, saying that, alright, if this brothers don't agree that this is how that this is the breakdown for Revelation 13 chapter, this is the mark of the beast, then they don't have the truth. Then they don't have the truth. You're supposed to come into this thing thinking that, okay, what's the mark of the beast? I used to think that it was the mark. I used to think that it was the RFID microchip, but I want to know now what it is. And then what the brother said that it is the RFID microchip. Okay, you are right, and then you say that, okay, you get it back. Because if you come into this thing having preconceived notions, because that's exactly what it is, you already believed in something before you came into this truth. and you're still carrying that belief into this truth, guess what? You're going to break out and fall out, okay? You have to empty your cup. You have to change the way. You have to completely empty your cup. You have to completely wipe your mind clean of all the previous beliefs that you had, and then come into this truth in complete newness. Okay. So now so now you're waiting for the. So now it's what the action. What the Spirit reveals to you. It's not say the action. Like, it's not saying that Great Mission is following the elders. You are not following your right. But what the Spirit reveals to you, what the Spirit opens you, shows you that is the truth. That is how you. That's how you establish that you establish that is the truth. All right. So continue on. Yeah, what I answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again. Oh, Saka, I skipped the verse. John 3 verse 4. Nicodemus saith unto him, how can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? And Yahushua answered, verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And this is Yahushua telling you exactly how it should be, okay? You are born of the water, and that water is representing what? The rivers of living water, okay? The everlasting water that the Most High will give, alright, through the everlasting water that Yahushua will give you, the water of life, okay? Water and the Spirit, the water of life, which is this truth, okay? And the truth will go into what? Our spirit, Essentially, you're born again, in your spirit, you're born again, in your mind, you're born again, in your heart, that lab, be born again. You cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High, okay? You cannot. You cannot repent. You cannot repent. You cannot be saved. You can't come into this thing thinking. You can't come into this thing with a Christian mindset to set, okay, or whatever mindset that you are in before. You can't come into this thing with that. Okay, you have to come into this thing anew. Like you have to come into this thing like you are. Like you were just born, okay? You have to come into this thing like a newborn baby. The only thing that going into that 5 levels of wisdom that the Apostle Gabba always talks about, and you have to very think. I can't remember it perfectly. But remember, at the bottom level is the monkey, I believe. Then as you are going up, you go to the monkey, the toad, the owl, the serpent, and the dragon. I believe that's how it goes. You have to come into this thing like like that. When you are first, you are copying everything that the brothers, the elders, the Akim and the elders, the Akim and I'll say Zakwan. When the Akim and the elders and the apostles do. First and foremost, you are copying all the things that they are doing, okay? You're learning the doctrine from them, you're learning the breakdown from them. And then the Spirit starts working with you, you can start making your own, you can start learning, going to break down by yourself, You can start breaking down things that are in the scriptures, because a lot of doctrine that we use right now, a lot of it was actually brought up by brothers that came into this thing, It's not the others that did all the breakdowns, that did all that brought out all the preachers that we always use. A lot of it was brought out by the action, when the Spirit was working with them, they started bringing out scriptures, started breaking down some of the parables, some of the harder sayings that are written up in the scriptures. That's exactly how it works. That's what it means to be born again. When you are born again, that's when the Spirit can enter into you, because what the scriptures say, wisdom shall not enter into a malicious spirit. And you know what? I want to get that word malicious. You have to get with me. I'm going to bring out our precept. I want to get that word malicious just to see what it means. I think it's in the Apocrypha. Let me just bring up my Apocrypha. Here it is. Wisdom of Solomon 1 verse 4, and it reads, for into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter, nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin. Alright, so that is, what? When that is what you haven't completely cast away the old man. You haven't completely, I would say, kill yourself in the flesh, okay? You haven't completely thrown away your flesh. That's when wisdom will not enter into you. When you are prone to going back into iniquity, to going back into wickedness, okay? And of course, when you have a malicious spirit, so let me get that word as well, malicious. And malicious means of pertaining to harmful or spite. And I'm going to get the word spite. Ill will or hatred towards another accompanied with the desire to irritate, annoy, or thwart. A want to disturb or put out another mild malice. So that's basically what we are. So that's basically, going into, going into having this false accuser type spirit. When you're trying to set a snare for your brother, so like, you're trying to set a snare for somebody so they can fall into it. And if you come into this truth in that mindset, with the mindset of trying to set a snare for people, having that malicious mindset, constantly setting traps for people to fall into. Guess what? The spirit is going to. The spirit is going to make you fall out. And not only that, you're going to be destroyed, because the scriptures is plain about, it's plain about the kind of, what will happen to those that set up a snare or that set a trap for their, for their brothers, okay, for people in this truth. You're the one that's going to fall into it. You're going to fall into your destruction. All right, so let me keep on going into that what I was reading. Alright, I'm done with that. That's basically what I wanted to get to. You have to be born again before you can come into this truth. Okay, and that doesn't mean just going back into your mother's womb. Okay, it means that you have to renew your mind. Okay, that's exactly what it means. You have to renew your mind in this truth. Okay, so let me get that. Let me get that as well, because that's actually a precept. There are actually two precepts I want to bring out. So I'll start with the book of Ephesians 4, verse 21. Ephesians 4, verse 21. If so be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahushua, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, which after the Most High is created in righteousness and in true holiness. That is basically it. Okay, putting off the old man, which is the flesh, and putting on the new man. Renew your mind, renew your spirit. Okay, that's basically what it means to be born again. Right, so let me get the next precept. Alright. Colossians 3 verse 9, and it reads, Colossians 3 verse 9. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. That was renewed in what? The knowledge of Yahushua, because if you want to, of course, it was Yahweh that created all things, but he did it through his word, okay, through his son Yahushua. So I've been renewed in what? Image of Yahushua. And that image is what they are pushing out here in the highways and byways, who are teaching out here, okay? Not just what Yahushua taught, okay? Not just how he lived, okay? All his teachings, but also what he looked like. Because if you go into traditional Christianity and they tell you that, oh, his color doesn't matter, oh, his appearance doesn't matter, and that is exactly what we've been arguing with this past week. We've been going back and forth with these we've been getting on these Christians because out of nowhere, man, these Christians just decided to attack us, okay? The Hebrew Israelites, specifically the GMS, just decided to attack us out of nowhere, talking about 10 things you should know before facing a Hebrew Israelite. Or talking about the Most High keep talking about they wanted to try and call it debunk that the fact that the Most High only came and the Most High is only dealing with Israel. Alright, sorry, I forgot my point. I was trying to get something. as I was saying, I was going into the image of Yahweh Shai. So they want everybody to know. They say that the Most High color doesn't matter, but he's a white man, but he's a so-called white man. Though it's like an Edomite, blonde hair, blue eyes, and everything. And if you ask these Christians, you know what the Yahweh Shai looks like, they say that he was an Arab, he looked like an Arab, he wasn't white, he wasn't black either, he was brown, Arab this, Arab that. Well, that image they are worshiping in these churches, man, that doesn't look like an Arab to me. That looks more like an Edomite, the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the long flowy hair, and the weak and anyway, it looks like looking like a freaking sodomite, okay? That doesn't look like an Arab to me. Now, I don't see any Arab, and I see actually seen, and there's actually a lot of Arabs here in Nigeria, right? And I've not seen any Arab that looks like that, man. In fact, there are some Arabs that there are lots of Arabs that could even pass as Jake, okay? Even as they look, even with their straight hair, even with the straight hair, okay, even as they are, even with that straight hair, they could still pass as Jake, Like I know one, for example, where I work, this dude, man. I don't even know if he's actually an Arab or if he's if he's a Jake, But it could, but it could be Jake, I think maybe, I think maybe his father is is Nigerian. But anyway, that's beside the point. What I'm trying to focus on is the image of Yahweh Shai. Even though the scriptures goes into it, explaining what our Lord looks like, explaining everything like that about him, all the aspects of his appearance, they still say that, that the color doesn't matter. It goes deeper into talking about, even though there are prophecies that are written up in the Bible that say that at the end days, that Esau, going to Job 9 verse 24, that he covered the faces of the judges thereof, okay? Going to the book of First Micah, it talks about them painting their own images in the books. Even though there are prophecies talking about all that, they still want to say that the face of the appearance doesn't matter, that kind of nonsense. And they even go as far to say the name of Yahweh doesn't matter as well. Even though there are hundreds of scriptures that disprove that. And even though there are scriptures that even by Esau's admission, even by these Christians' admissions, that those scriptures show that Yahweh was a so-called dark-skinned man, that he had to be, okay? Even by Esau's own admission. But you never see, that's another thing I actually want to go into. You never see these devils actually talk about these things in these churches, man. Sure, they might write a few articles about it, or they might write it in a commentary where they know that no Christian will ever see it, or where they know that nobody will ever read it. But when they go out into these churches, that's not what they talk about. They'll never actually openly admit it or openly say it, okay? Because because that's how you know these Christians, they don't have the truth, man. Okay, but anyway, going on. Where did I stop? Okay, I was talking about being born again. Anyway, I'm done with that. Let me get something else. Because let me say that it's here. I want to get this. Because the apostle that says that he that is dead, sin has no power over him, okay? Let me get that. So I'm trying to find this. Anyway, I can't find it. But anyway, let me just keep going on. Just keep on speaking on what I was. Just keep on speaking on the topic at hand, which is basically being dead to sin. Okay, rather being dead in the flesh, so I can be dead to sin, or being what alive in the spirit. Because you already know what it is, man. You know what the Apostle Paul said. He said that his outward. Let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. Alright, so this is the book of 2 Corinthians 4, verse 16, and it reads, "For which cause we faint not, but those our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." Okay, and that's exactly what it is, better to kill off what will inevitably die, better to kill off what we don't have any use for, because even the scriptures tell you, if your right hand offend you, cut it off, because it's better for you to go into the kingdom maimed, because you know that you're still going to get a new body anyway, and your hand will be restored, than to go into hell, and to be thrown into the lake of fire with a full body, where there's constant weeping and gnashing of teeth. So let me get that parable as well. Alright, so this book of Matthew, chapter 5, and I'll start from verse 20 to 28. Matthew 5, verse 28, and it reads, "But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart." Right? So that's going into what? Looking at a married woman, because you already know that you already know who or what adultery applies to. Married, married women that are given into marriage. Okay, women are already been married or have been engaged to be married. If you lay with those type of women, those type of women, that's adultery, and it is punishable by death. Okay. So you know, because you have some people actually are talking about that are saying that, oh, I don't need to lie with her, I don't need to have sex with her. I can fantasize about it. I can picture it in my mind, but no, I can picture it in my mind. What I want to say now, I want to just say no. Okay, that's not allowed as well. If you are fantasizing about it, if you are committing adultery with her in your heart, in your mind, that's wickedness as well. Okay, because what the outward your child is not just looking at the outward appearance. Okay, meaning that what you're not just looking at what you are doing on the outside, but also who you are on the inside as well. What is in the content of your heart, because what the scriptures say, that what is in the content of a man's heart is what he is. Okay, so how can a man, having only good things in his heart, how can a man having only evil things in his heart do anything that is good? Conversely, how can a man that has only good things in his heart do anything that is evil? So if you are thinking about doing wickedness, you are most definitely going to do it. Okay, because that's the first step. That's the first step to doing wickedness. Thinking about it first and foremost. So you think about it, you think about you are thinking about it, then you are going to do it. They are going to also do it. Okay. So now, let me continue down. "And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that the whole body should be cast into hell. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell." Alright, that is plain right there. Better for you to go into heaven maimed, okay? Go into the kingdom maimed. And let me get that one as well. Better for you to go into the kingdom maimed, and for you to go into destruction, go into perdition whole. Okay? Alright, Matthew 18, verse 8, and it reads, "Wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life halt or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet and be cast in everlasting fire." And that fire is going to what? The nuclear destruction. Okay, maybe it's not going to be everlasting, but when in that day, man, it's going to look like it's going to in that day for 2/3, man, it's going to look like you're going to feel like that. Okay. The thing is that what if you have anything that is getting in the way of you and this truth, you have to cut it off, man. No matter how important it is to you, you have to cut it off. You have to put it away from you. Okay. In order to what? To focus on getting that eternal life. Because that's all what our focus on. That's why it tells you that what, you should kill the outward man, okay? And you should kill your flesh, kill your desires, okay? Kill your dreams, kill your hopes, and focus on getting to the kingdom. Because if you are in the kingdom, you could have more than ask to desire. As the scripture says, in Yahushua's right hand, in his kingdom are pleasures eternal, okay? So what are we doing right now? We're throwing away all our dreams, throwing away all our hopes for the for what? For the kingdom, man. You have to get the kingdom, you have to live in the you have to gain that salvation because we have faith in Yahushua that all the things that he has spoken of in the scriptures will come to pass, okay? Which is something that plantation Christianity does not have. Faith, okay, which is why they can't kill the flesh, okay, which is why they still continue in wickedness. They tell you that, oh, you can go off, you can do this and you can do that. It's all perfectly okay. So the Most High knows your heart. He can know all that nonsense is the way to speak about. Basically, but us we I said, English is they're screw English, man. But you're screw English in the kingdom. They were going to be speaking Hebrew. No one will ever speak English, okay? But anyway, what I was saying is that if we that would be that expecting the kingdom, we throw away all these things because even the apostle Paul asked that same question. That we are forsaking houses, they were forsaking our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, our fathers, just to follow these truths. What do we have in return? And Yahweh said it plainly, okay? He that has forsaken houses and wives and lands and and sons and daughters for my sake shall have 100-fold of those same things, okay? That's what we're expecting in the kingdom. That's what Yahweh promised us that we would have. And we know that our Lord is not a liar, okay? What does the scripture say? That the Most High is not a man that he should lie. Not the Son of Man that he should repent. And Yahweh is the same, okay? He's not going to lie, he's not going to change his mind at the end of the day. He's going to give us all our heart desire and more, okay, in the kingdom. That's why we can confidently with faith throw away everything that we don't throw away everything that we don't need. Throw away everything that is us from doing this work. In order to continue in this truth. Right, so that we can be saved, so that we can be delivered. And in the kingdom we will receive that reward. Okay, that's why you have to kill this your body. That's why you have to kill your body. You have to be dead in the body, so that what the spirit can flourish. Okay, because what the scripture says, the scripture says that what that the spirit and the flesh are always at odds against one another. Constantly fighting, constantly a tug of war. So your spirit is that's the devil right there. But anyway, if your flesh, let me just slow down a little bit, okay? If your flesh is dead, your spirit don't have anybody to struggle against, and to win that tug of war every time. We know that what the weight of your spirit, what is in your spirit will constantly be what to come out of you. What is in what is in your spirit will constantly be what to come out of you. That's why you have to rebuke the flesh constantly. Don't give in to what your flesh wants, okay? Don't even give in to your fleshly desires, your carnal desires, so that what you can build up your spirit will become stronger and stronger, and your flesh will become weaker and weaker, and you can walk with what you can walk in the spirit and walk with the spirit, okay? Because what we are trying to be spiritual, okay? We're trying to leave carnality outside, because the scriptures say, and the carnal man cannot receive the things of the spirit, neither can he be of the spirit, okay? Let me get that. I believe it's the carnal mind. Let me get this one first. Romans 8 verse 6, and it reads, "For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be." So that's telling you right there that your flesh cannot be subject to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Your flesh cannot obey the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's what the scripture says. That's why the scriptures say the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. This flesh that we have with us, it wasn't designed to do the will of Yahweh of the Most High. It wasn't designed to obey and to follow the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It was designed for wickedness, okay? It was designed to be a chain of darkness. A chain of darkness. That's why the book of Jude and I believe the book of James calls it that, it was designed to hold us in these bodies so we can receive our punishment, okay, for the wickedness that we committed, during the time of Adam as the Adamites, going after the women of these other nations. In other words, the same thing that we committed all this time, idolatry, man. That is exactly what we did during the time of Adam. Because don't think that don't think that Cain didn't create his own God, and the children of the other nations that were living during that time didn't have their own gods. They did, and guess what? We as the Adamites, he followed them in their wickedness, and what the Most High do, he rewarded us for that wickedness with destruction, okay, with perdition, yeah, with the flood. I know it's funny. Speaking of Cain, speaking of Cain, speaking of speaking of the devil, then you should already know what true Cain is. Okay, that serpent in the garden that beguiled Eve. You know that tempted that serpent in the garden that tempted Eve. You know, and it came back again as Esau, that crooked serpent, because that is exactly what these devils are, snakes, man. I already know the what I'm looking for, the attributes of these snakes, man. Slippery, slithery, fox-tongued devils. That is exactly what they are, okay? Esau, that's how you know that Esau had to be Cain. He had to be the same serpent in the garden. He had to be that had to be all these people, man. Because the devil, like Esau as onto a snake, the serpent. That's why that is why the fourth beast is a dragon. Because that's basically the final form of these devils, man. They went from serpents to dragons, okay? Because what? Because of that pride, because of that swelling. Because that's what Esau sees himself as. He sees himself as this massive dragon that can eat the whole earth. But in all actuality, man, you're just a simple worm, okay? It's something that what? As the scripture says, that he shall, that the children of Eve shall bruise, they shall break thy neck. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what is going to happen, man. We're going to destroy you devils, okay? We're going to have you devils in captivity, in yokes of iron around your neck. We're going to revenge you. That's like, avenge ourselves for all the wickedness that you have done to us all this time in the kingdom, man. So all you devils better start looking forward to it, because you are still going into slavery, okay? That has not changed, okay? The doctrine has and will never change. It's still the same thing. Esau, Edom, you so-called Edomites are going into slavery, are going into captivity. Alright, that is your destiny, okay? So now I want to get some. Let me see if I can get some precepts concerning this, okay? Alright, this is the piece I was looking for. Isaiah 27 verse 1 and it reads, in that day, Yahweh with Salakia. Let me slow down. Isaiah 27 verse 1. In that day, Yahweh with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, sing ye unto her a vineyard of red wine. Yahweh would I went too far. But basically, what that's going into is Leviathan, a piercing serpent. That is the dragon that is in the sea. And that sea represents all the nations and multitudes of people. And that piercing serpent, that Leviathan, that dragon is Esau, man. Because what the scriptures call him, they call him the red dragon, that's exactly what they call Esau and his rulership. And the Most High is coming back to destroy that rulership, okay? To destroy that kingdom. And that is why you never hear these kind of preachings in the churches, man. Because Esau can admit that his kingdom is the one that Yahushua will come back to destroy. Because if he does that, if Esau will say that, okay, we are living in the end time, we are living in the end of days. But guess what? Esau is prophesied to be ruling in the end of days. The devil is prophesied to be ruling in the end of days, okay? So that means that what? The people that are ruling right now are the devil. And that is plain, okay? That is simple as hell. You know? Because what the scriptures say, that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And if you say that, okay, you don't read the Apocrypha, well, what about this one here, Isaiah 27 verse 1? And how about Yahushua will come back and destroy the Leviathan, that piercing serpent? That's speaking of Esau, Edom. So these devils, they are snakes. The scriptures likens them unto serpents, okay? Showing you that the serpent in the book of Genesis, the first chapter, was Esau. Esau Edom is the ancestor of Esau Edom, was reincarnated, was brought back as Cain, brought back as the Edomites, brought back as who they are as a nation today. And that whole nation came out of his womb, you know. And how about Shimei Yoshai? He prophesied that what? Destruction to that serpent seed, okay? Let's tell you that what? That whole nation is going to be judged. You know, because Esau likes to talk about how, oh, the Most High hated Esau only. Only the Esau and the rest of his children aren't involved in that. Well, let me get this precept right here. Let me get this one first in the book of Micah. And you can already know what I want to get. Micah 2 verse 3. Therefore thus says Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil from which you shall not remove your necks. Neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. That is speaking about what? The whole family of Esau, Edom. In other words, all you Edomites, you elites, and you low-level Edomites, doesn't matter if you are living large in this kingdom, exploiting Jake or not. At the end of the day, you are still going to get that judgment as a nation. That's exactly what Yahweh Shimei Yoshai is. That's exactly what the Most High is, the judge of the nations, okay? Not the judge of one man, alright? You are all going to get that judgment collectively as a nation, okay? As nation of what? The nation of that originated from the serpent in the garden. So let me get this one as well. Because even the Most High tells you exactly who that serpent is. Alright, look at Revelation, the 12th chapter. And I feel like I want to start from verse 12. I feel like I want to start from verse 1. But you know what, I'm not going to go to the point. Revelation 12 verse 7, and it reads, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. And this dragon is speaking about what? This beast system that we're living right now. And the angels are the Space Force, you know, the US Space Force, because that is a legitimate branch of the military right now. And guess what? The Space Force, they don't take breaks. They are always in operation. They are always operational 24/7. Watching what? Watching the skies for the war that will be fought intergalactically. Because what these Space Force are you know what? The official story, okay? The propaganda that Esau is pushing is that these other nations are what they are watching for. But we know what they are really watching for, okay? Because the same way that you have watchmen on the right-hand side, which are the prophets, you know, you also have watchmen on the left-hand side, which is this Space Force. They are watching for the coming of Yahweh, you know, to intercept him in the air, because they think that they can fight against him. But this war in heaven is talking about when Michael, he raises up that standard. That's in the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. When Michael shall raise up that standard for our people, okay? During the time of Jacob's trouble, you know, when he shall raise up that standard, he shall come to deliver us. You know, these they will intercept and trying to fight against them. But we already know what will happen. That is written up, I believe that is the book of 2nd Ezra. I see that is 2nd or the 3rd chapter. Where it talks about, you know, the mountain that was, the mountain that Yahweh came in, or rather the massive chariot that Yahweh came in. That these devils, when they tried to fight him, you know, and he did what? He destroyed them with a single blast of his nostrils. In other words, he used the beams, the fire from that chariot to completely wipe out Esau's whole Space Force. And guess what happens? And guess what happened when they fought? Revelation 12 verse 8. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out onto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Alright, that is play right there. In other words, Esau and his entire kingdom, that it's okay. The entire space force are going to be thrown down, okay? What does the scripture say? Let me get that. That shall be broken without hand. Now let me get that. Daniel the 8th chapter. Daniel 8 verse 25, and it reads, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that's like going into the book of 2nd Ezra, where he talks about how Yahweh lifted up neither sword nor hand, but with a single shout, a single blast of his nostrils, while these devils destroyed, okay? In other words, one beam of that chariot is enough to take out Esau and his entire army. That's why you are seeing more and more child sightings. You are seeing more and more of these, of the angels coming out, because what they're getting ready to destroy this kingdom, man. They are, and it's funny because the angels are already up there. They are already surrounded this place. All right. They're already surrounded this entire kingdom. All that is left for you. I was trying to give you that order, bring it down. And that's it, man. Plain. This kingdom is already through. Esau. These devils, they just don't know it yet. That the kingdom is already through. Okay. So just remaining for you. I was trying to send down to come and send that hit order, man. Of course, of course, I should mention this, okay, that there are still more prophecies that have to come to pass, concerning this kingdom, coming to an end. The mark of the beast. Anyway, there are still more prophecies coming to pass. The mark of the beast, Jacob's trouble that still hasn't gotten to full effect. That is, before we can say that, okay, Yahusha is coming back, all these things have to come to pass first. We're not trying to jump the gun here, okay? We're not going to tell you that Yahusha is going to come back very soon without telling you that, but the mark of the beast has to be implemented first. Alright, Jacob's trouble has to hit first. All the prayer and the instruction that we talked about, it has to come to pass first. And that reminds me, I was watching this documentary, Europa. I've forgotten the exact name of it. I was watching it. I had it on my, I had it with it, but I haven't yet got really, I was supposed to download the remaining chapters, but I completely forgot. Man, that's on me. But I was watching the documentary, man, and when you watch that documentary, you can see just how easy it is for all hell to break loose. Okay, you can see just how easy it is for all the scriptures that all the prophecies about famine, about pestilence, about plagues to come to pass, because that's exactly what happened. Because it has already happened before. These people actually like to think that those kind of things can't happen. But they have already happened before. As early as as early as the Cold War, those things actually happened during the Cold War. In the Soviet states, Ukraine, Russia, and the like. That's why whenever all these Murica, I don't know how to pronounce that. But Murica, how these people like to say. So there's a book that just. There's a book that's just on my phone. Okay, there was a bug that was on my phone. But anyway, how these Edomites, these big capitalist perpetuals Edomites, American Edomites, like talk about communism, how it killed so many people. What we're actually talking about what was going on during Stalin's Russia, okay? And the actual thing, and the funny thing about that communism is that Stalin was actually trying to kill people, okay? He was trying to kill as much Soviet people as possible. That's why you had, and during that time, you had famines, you had plagues, okay? You had hyperinflation. You actually had people eating their children, okay? You had people cooking. You had cannibalism going around. And that shows you just how terrible the dying of hunger is. When you start cooking your children and eating them, when you start having to resort to cannibalism, that's exactly what is coming to Babylon, man. When the elites were through with Russia, when the elites were through with the Soviet Union, then that's what they did to it. So what do you think will happen when the elites are through with Babylon? If they cut off Babylon from the rest of the world, guess what? You to stay in Babylon, because I know that the Achaeans will be alright. They'll be straight. They'll have Yahweh Hashem Yahushua protecting them. But you to stay, you hidden in Babylon, you won't be able to do anything, okay? That's when the starvation will come, alright? Because Babylon as it is, it barely produces anything, okay? That's when the hyperinflation will come, because nobody will be using the dollar anymore. That is when the destruction of Babylon the Great will come. Then when you start seeing people actually cooking and eating their children, okay? That's when you start seeing gangs of people kidnapping people, cooking them and eating them. That's when you start seeing cannibalism will be on the rise, okay? Alright, yes, I was trying to thought. Because these things have already happened, okay? As early as 60, 70 years ago. It hasn't even been a century since it happened on a large scale. But they never report that in the news. They never put that in history books for people to know just how terrifying this kind of things can be. Just how easy it is for it to happen. Because if you don't go into history, okay, you never realize just how easy it is for all these prophecies to come to pass. You don't realize just how easy it is for Esau to do all the things that the Most High had written that he would do. They might think that, oh, there's no way that they can force everybody on the planet to get injected with a microchip. Oh, there's no way that America can fall up onto that can fall into martial law and civil law and and shit it fan to the extent where people have to eat their children. Oh, there's no way those kind of things can happen. You think that you are we are trusting in the safety of Egypt or Babylon. Well, guess what? During the time of Jeremiah, that's what our people were saying as well. That Israel will not fall. Israel can't fall. The Most High is with us. Blah blah blah. The Yahweh is on our side. There's no way Babylon can take us out. But what the Yahweh say? You see that word through my servant Nebuchadnezzar. I'm going to punish these people, man. And if you want to live, go into captivity, go into slavery. Alright, become servants of Nebuchadnezzar. And guess what? That's exactly what the prophet Jeremiah did. Alright, but all our people that refuse to do that, they try to go down to Egypt. Woe unto them that go down to Egypt, then. That trust in Pharaoh. And let me get that. I believe that is the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter. There's a like for my stammering so much, But man, it's like for my stammering so much. But that just Satan right there, okay? Putting that spirit of tidings in me when I just got started. Now imagine that. Anyway. Study the book of Isaiah 30 and I'll start from verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel but not of me, and acquire with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. And that is plain. I also want to get another one. Alright, Isaiah 36th chapter. Alright, Isaiah 36. Isaiah 36 from verse 5 now. I say, sayest thou, okay, Isaiah 36 verse 6. Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. And on this side, we know that our people are trusting in Pharaoh, are trusting in Egypt again, trusting in Babylon, trusting in Esau. Because, like for example, you had that demon, that devil, okay? That woman I was talking about how I don't know what is in the infusion. I don't want to know what is in the infusion, but I'm still going to take the infusion, Trusting that's trusting in Eve. And that's who Esau is using the same way that he used. And once again is showing you that Esau is the exact same serpent that was in the garden, because what? History repeats itself, okay? There is no new thing under the sun. Esau is still using Eve, still using our women to deceive us, still using our women to try to beguile us, okay? But what? The elect will not be, as the scripture says, if it were possible to deceive the very elect, but it's not possible to deceive the elect. The elect isn't going to fall for Esau's little tricks, okay? They're not going to fall for you beguiling us using Eve, or using our women, you serpent, you devils, okay? And that's another little part in there, because you hate to see it, man. You hate to see what Esau has done to our people and what Esau does to our people consistently. How Esau has used witchcraft, used subtlety, used all these things to deceive our people, okay, and use especially our women, okay, because you know what it's just say. That is Job 35, the other Makama. The other Makama has brought out so much this past week. Let me get that. The other Makama has brought it out so much this past week, okay. And now it's funny because now Even men that are not in this truth are starting to see that men, the Most High really didn't give these women any wisdom. Even men that aren't in this truth are starting to see it. So okay, I can't find it. I have to get it. Okay, Job 39 from verse 17. Job 39 verse 17. Because the Most High hath deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted to her understanding. Alright, that is plain right there. Okay, talking about the women. Okay, our women, Eve. As I was saying, talking about Eve. I don't know who the that was. But anyway, talking about Eve. You know that. Anyway, as I was saying, you know, the most sad that grace, those I think of thought. So you know, I got distracted because someone was calling me out there. But anyway, as I was saying, you know, the most sad deprived our women of the woman of understanding basically. And even women that aren't this truth are already seeing it, man. That you know, these women, they don't really have any knowledge, they don't have any understanding, they don't know what the hell they are doing. Okay, they don't know, you know, they don't know. They don't know anything. That's why you see our women going into adultery. That's why you see them talk about how they are. I don't want to start going into this red pill talk right now. I don't want to start going into it. But that's basically what you are seeing with these women, man. They don't have any understanding. Okay, that's why that's why our women are constantly chasing after the flesh, you know, jumping from, and I said I didn't want to go into this red pill talk, into this red pill talk. But that's basically why you're jumping from bow to bow, you know, opening their quiver for every single bow, you know, opening their mouth for every single, rod basically. Because that's the next that our women are in right now. Vanity upon vanity upon vanity, jumping from vanity to vanity, only doing the things that please and I think that make them feel good at the time, okay? That's why they cheat. That's why they commit adultery. That's why they divorce their man. You know, they have like 10 baby mamas from 10 different men. So that's like 10 children from 10 different men. Right? All kinds of adultery. And the same goes for you men as well, okay? Because you know, once I have a lot of people criticizing women for they jumping from penis to penis, but nobody is really, nobody is really getting on, except for, of course, Great Millstone. Nobody else is getting on the men that are providing those dicks, man, those penises for the court carousel. Nobody is for the CC. Nobody is getting on those men that are allowing these women to jump. To jump on their dick and jump onto another man. They're committing adultery constantly. That wickedness has been as well. And guess what? You men that do these things are going to be destroyed as well. Okay, structure and train of thought is just needs to be more wonky and wonky. But anyway, continuing on because that's how we do. We move on. That's how we do. Anyway, we move on. This, through Eve, through this woman, even the scriptures tell you that, man. For through Eve began, for through Eve came, through Eve began all. God damn it. From the woman began all sin, and I've been saying God damn it a lot too. But that's because I can't remember that precept very well, so I have to get it. I don't remember how it goes. For from the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all died. Okay, that's the precept right there. But let me just quickly get this, so I can get the exact verse and chapter. Slovakia. Breeze. Here it is. Ecclesiasticus 25, verse 24, and it reads, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die, okay? And that's why in Esau's kingdom, they tell you not to shame women for whatever they do. They say that all women are queens, you know, that these women can do no wrong, because that is it, okay? That is exactly, that's how you get everybody, by getting the women, okay? That's how Esau got our people. That's how he got Adam. Alright, through the woman. That's how he got that's how he got our people, okay? That's how our people fell during the time of Noah. That's how Adam fell, you know, through the woman. Because of alright, I don't want to say that yet, but because of that box, okay? Because you know how Jake gets when he sees a woman that a woman that's very fine, a woman that is a woman that is very attractive, you know how Jake gets, you know. You know, I was to say small ways, big ass. Small ways and big ass. You know how Jake gets, right? When they see that, when they see that, you know, like for example, now you see a chick walking by, you see this chick walking by with a big ass, man. You can see the entire, and that is something that happens all the time, you know. No matter what group of people I'm with, man, everybody just stops and just starts looking at the ass walking by, man. Because that's exactly how Jake is, man. You know, Jake. No. The easiest way to get Jake is through these women, okay? That's how they got Samson, isn't it? Through Delilah. And Esau already knows this, okay? The formula is already there and has been there for ages. So all Esau has to do is just follow the formula. As long as he can get the women into the privacy, as long as he can get the women to be part of his kingdom, guess what? The men will follow suit because that's how it is. That's why Esau has made the women the head, because he knew that if you made the women the head, all it will lead to is destruction. It will lead to sin. It will lead to death. Okay, because if the woman, because you see what happened the first time a woman was allowed to lead. Okay, a woman was allowed to lead. She dragged an entire nation into into wickedness. Okay, I'm talking about Eve. You know, when Eve was doing that fruit, you know, she gave it to Adam and beguiled Adam the same way the serpent beguiled Eve. Okay, and this is exactly what Eve did. You know, she started practicing the wickedness of the serpents. You know, the idolatry, the witchcraft, the paganism, all the wicked doctrines that Esau loves to push. And what did she do? She taught it to Adam. Okay, because what did Esau say? He deceived you with that old juice. You know that these are the ways of wisdom. You know that was the ways of the Most High and the Son are outdated. This is science right here. That's exactly what science is. Science, you know, the science is just a reincarnation of the forbidden fruit, you know, because that's what he will tell you that according to science, this and this, you know, and then they use what, but it's not actual science, okay, because the word science goes out to the Latin word scienta, which means to know. In other words, if you are talking about science, that means what I'm talking about is unmistakable fact, okay. There is no such thing as scientific theory, because if it is a part of science, that means you know if it's certainty that this is what it is, okay, this is the truth and math, okay. This is what Esau does. This is what he pushes. You know, tells you that okay, that this is what it is. That you know those ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh are outdated. They are past. Okay, that they no longer apply anymore. They live in a new world. That's why these Christians always say that was in the Old Testament. That was in the Old Testament. But what does the book of Lamentation, the 3rd chapter, say? I believe it's Lamentation, the 3rd chapter. So like I have to get that. He said that what? I am the Lord, I change not. Okay. Let me get that. He said, I am Lord, I change not. Okay, Malachi 3 verse 6. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Okay. So Yahweh Bashim Yahweh has not yet changed. You know what the scripture says? Yahweh is the same. Let me get that. The same yesterday. I'm not going to get this. Let me just quote it. our Lord Hamashiach is the same yesterday, the same today, and the same forever. In other words, what? The Most High is the same yesterday, okay? He's the same today, and it will be the same forever. Meaning that what? The Old Testament still applies, okay? There is no, it has changed. There's no new covenant just yet, okay? The Old Testament still applies because it is still the same God that created that inspired our apostles to write the Old Testament, that wrote the New Testament. And if you really want to get into it, it is still the same men. So nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is what? That we are no longer saved by the law. That our salvation is no longer in the law. Since it is impossible to keep the law because we are in the flesh, and the flesh cannot do the will of the Most High. Because we have already read this now. But to be carnally minded is what? Death. To be carnally minded is enmity with the Most High. Because the carnal mind cannot be, the carnal mind cannot be joined to the Most High, okay? So what? Because we are in this flesh, we cannot do the will of the Most High perfectly. But through Yahawashi, who even though he was in this flesh, did the will of the Most High perfectly. He became a perfect sacrifice, unblemished, okay? That is how we ourselves, we are saved through the sacrifice of Yahawashi, the final lamb. Hebrews chapter 7, I always talk about this. You can go into that to read more about it. That is how we are saved. That is how we are brought into. That's how we are saved, okay? So, yeah. So, what was I trying to say again? Basically, so yes, the law no longer applies, but yes, no longer applies, but the law still stands, okay? It's just that it's no longer applicable to us because we are under grace as well. But not just the law, we are under the grace through, we're under grace through the faith of Yahawashi, and through that, and guess what? The faith of the grace of Yahawashi is still subject to the law, okay? The grace of Yahawashi is still subject to the law. If you're under the grace of Yahawashi, you are still subject to the law. You still die from sin, okay? So the Old Testament and New Testament are the same book. They are apocrypha. They are all the same book because they are all from Yahweh Yahawashi. The same God wrote them all, and the same God spake them all. Okay. So there is no, that this doesn't apply anymore, or this and that. That was in the past. That's all in the past. No, it's not. Okay. Simple and simple. No, it is not. We are all under we are all under Yahawashi. In other words, we are all under the law. Okay. Because that's exactly what we are meant to do. That's exactly how we are to be saved, through that grace and through keeping the law, okay, through doing the will of the Most High and respecting His commandments, okay. Yeah, now I was rambling about something else there, but let me get back on topic. I wanted to speak on something else before I left because I'm getting ready to close out, so I want to speak on something else real quick before I left. My phone is acting up. Consistently does that. Anyway, I have time to get a new phone, but I'm trying to seek for a very, 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 very good phone, But anyway, with what has been happening recently, these Christians just upsurging out of nowhere, trying to debunk this truth, and even what happened with Vocab Malone, how the NFL, if you want to actually, if you want to actually summarize it, basically the NFL, indirectly hired Vocab Malone to speak to the what I'm looking for, the athletes, because they were really getting into this Hebrew Israelite thing, they are starting to receive the truth. That's just a testament to how great this world is, where even with everything that these devils are doing and have been doing and will continue to do to bring this word, to try to quench this word, to try to quench the fire of the word, to censor as much as possible, calling us domestic terrorists. We are still being talked about in even NFL locker rooms, man. That shows you just how famous, and you know they're talking about Great Bluestone. That shows you just how famous you actually have become. NFL players are talking about you, man. NFL players are listening to you and following you. That shows you how famous you actually are. They were starting to get bigger and bigger than these celebrities, man. And out here, they're starting to get bigger than they are getting bigger than these celebrities. But anyway, what I was trying to get to that throughout this picture, I've been seeing how plantation Christianity has been trying to get on this truth. That just shows you how much this truth is plaguing Esau right now. It shows you how much hell this truth is bringing on these devils, man. And that's beautiful right there, because we know that it is all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahawashi, and this truth is getting to Esau at the rate it is getting to him right now, okay? And that's what us giving all the praises, glory and honor unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because he's deserving of it. Okay, he's the one that made this truth he's one that put these devils on. I don't know what I want to use, but he's one that's basically put a fire under these devils under these devils with this truth, man. Okay, so all praises, Kal Halal Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachak Kodash, This truth is coming out, man. This truth is giving these devils sleepless nights. They are being plagued by these truths. That's why they're sending. That's why chaplains are hiring vocab to dissuade the NFL from Hebrew Israelism. And I was thinking about this, how even though the NFL, they're talking about these things in their locker rooms, they're not really going to follow the truth. We already know this, These that are well to do, that are well off in this life, they've already sold out. Okay, they've already given themselves wholly to Esau. Because you saw what was it, Kendrick Lamar, how he was talking about, don't call me black no man, I'm an Israelite. How he was embracing the Hebrew Israelite doctrine during that time. And that's how we already knew that these celebrities, everybody already knows about this truth. They've been knowing about the truth. Like I don't say that well, but they've known about the truth for years, okay. But you saw come on Tiffany Haddish, okay, how they met the Akim and the Harris and byways, They've known about this truth for years, but none of them have ever repented or shown any change in their behavior. You have you actually have some celebrities that some celebrities that actually been showing some changes in their behavior and the way they act, But for the most part, man, none of them are actually fully repented and embraced this truth wholly. Right? Because you saw what happened to Kendrick Lamar, how he was talking about how he was an Israelite. But then suddenly, they suddenly just thought, I went back into the world, man. Because what? When they realized what they could lose, when they realized what they could lose for this truth, man, the world is immediately choked out of them. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai doesn't actually want them, okay? This is all just for what? For exhortation, to build up the brotherhood. When you hear that the NFL, that he is sending sending Christians trying to dissuade NFL players from hearing these truths, and you hear Vocab talk about it. Because if you watch the video response that Vocab did for, about this that tweet that came out, okay, then you realize just how far this truth has gone. The NFL, the NBA, and it's in the baseball league as well, Major Baseball League. You know that the UEFA Champions League, the Premier League, it's also there as well, because you have Akim in Europe as well. So you know that this truth has gone all over the place, man. All these jokes that are doing all these sports, the celebrities, the actors, the musicians, they know about it too, okay? The truth has gone everywhere. Everybody's talking about the Hebrew Israelites, And that is prophesied, because what did Yahweh say? All the Yahweh say that he will get them and I will give them fame, okay? That's what he said. I will get them fame. So let me get that. Alright, look at Zephaniah 13 verse 19, and it reads, Zephaniah 13 verse 19, Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame, okay? That's what you are seeing happening right now. The fame and the fear of the Hebrew Israelites is being brought out in every land, especially in Babylon, because if you think about it, the place that we are put to shame, the most is Babylon the Great, okay? So now the Most High have raised us up, has given us that fame, that praise of that fame and that fear. Because going into the book of, let me get that. Actually, I want to bring this out of the book of Ezekiel, the 39th chapter, I believe. Okay, Ezekiel 37. Okay, I wasn't here, so I have to get to the book of Revelation, the 7th chapter. I have to get to the book of Revelation. Alright, Revelation 11. Revelation 11 verse 11, and it reads, "And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them." Okay, so now let me go back to the book of Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter. Because what this is speaking about is what? The dry bones being raised up. And that's why I was going to the book of Ezekiel 37. Because guess what? When we were here, okay, when we first came here, we were dead. Okay, dead, like I said before, dead in the spirit, okay? That's like they are dead in the spirit, but because we did not know who we were. That's why I started going into all these different doctrines, all these different philosophies. You know, calling ourselves African Americans, calling ourselves colored, calling ourselves Negroes, calling ourselves blacks, okay? Because we did not know who we are. But now that we're waking up to our true heritage, now that we're waking up to the fact that we are Israelites, you know, it's all coming back to us now, okay? That we are the Hebrew Israelites, and that's why great fear is falling upon all these other nations, because they know what will happen when we wake up to the fact to who we are. That they're going back into captivity, and they are going to be raised up as what? The elect, okay? As the true people of the Most High, Yashar Allah. Alright. So Ezekiel 37. So I'm looking for where to start from. Okay, Ezekiel 37 verse 4, and it reads, "Again he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of power unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh." And that is exactly what has been done to us in this time, man. We've been brought back to life, okay? We've been brought back to reality. You know, because that reminds me of this song, "Back to Life, Back to Reality." You know, because that's exactly what has happened to us. You brought back to life, brought back to reality, okay? The reality of who we are. We're not Negroes, we're not colored, okay? We're not black. We are the Hebrew Israelites. We're not Native, you know, not Native Americans, you're not Hispanics, you're not spooks, okay? You're not way-backs. All these other names that they use against, all these names, all these bywords used against our people. We are the northern and southern kingdom of the nation of Israel, okay? We are the Israelites according to the Bible. That is exactly what's making Esau, you know, that's what's making Esau lose his sleep. That's what is giving Esau sleepless nights. Because you think this devil is afraid of all these jakes that go out into these shooting ranges to practice with guns. Or you think Esau is, open up this video and sees you dumb ass Jake with your fringes, shooting guns in a shooting range. I know the funny thing, the shooting range you are going to is probably owned by an Edomite, and he let you Jake shoot because he knows in all actuality you're not even a threat, okay? Because when Esau sees that kind of thing, and he's just like, oh, these Jakes actually think that they can go up against. You actually think they can go up against these devils? You know they are still a slave to. And you still have to probably, after all that, you still clock to your 9-to-5 job to some Edomite that's paying your checks. That the money that you used to pay for that gun range membership was given to you by some Edomites. And you just actually think that these devils are scared of you. Esau is laughing. He's laughing. Probably not even going to be sarcastic with it. Talking about, oh, I'm shaking in my boots. Oh, these Jews are going to shoot me with the same gun I created. You know, trying to use these devil's blessings against them. But when Esau turns the other channel and sees great millstone, sees the men of the Lord, sees the apostles, sees sees some young actors coming to this truth, just started doing his first lesson. Guess what? That brother right there, okay? That brother that just did his first lesson. I did his first camp, okay? That's I'm not perfect, okay, but I do my best. That's basically stammering, forgetting scriptures, getting all nervous, getting all nervous, doesn't know doesn't know what he's saying, but he's still doing a video. That brother right there scares Esau a lot more than any of you there, than any of you jakes out there that are shooting guns, with your, that shoot guns with your garments, with your wife beater, um, tank top garments, ever will, okay? Now come on with you, come on showing off your muscles, talking about, talking about soldiers of your hour. That young brother right there, they might still be in high school, they're trying to do the work, okay? Trying to push this work, trying to do they're trying to get, doing videos. It's far more, it's far more scary to Esau than you devil, than you Sakya. Right? That must be the spirit, man. Calling those men devils, because at the end of the day, those are the people that Esau is as an example to try to make us, the Hebrew Israelites, seem violent. But those brothers are far more scary, okay, to Esau. Esau is far more scared of them than he ever will be of you. Because you can go into all the lessons talking about how we don't have any need to take up arms against this devil. We don't have any need to fight against Esau, because Yahweh Shai is the one that does the fighting for us. And always has, always will, okay? But all we need to do is to push this word, because what? There's a song that we sing here in Nigeria. The walls of Jericho fell down flat. And I'm not going to sing it the way they sing it, okay? But anyway, the walls of Jericho fell down flat. The walls of Jericho fell down flat. When the children of the Most High, when the children of Yahweh were praising the Lord, the walls of Jericho fell down flat. And you know that they're not going to see Yahweh. But basically, I'm trying to say that what? The walls of Jericho fell down flat. When the children of Yahweh were praising the Lord, the walls of Jericho fell down, okay? So what? No, it wasn't Jake going with sledgehammer breaking down the walls of Jericho to make it fall. It wasn't Jake taking up a sword against Jericho that made it fall. It was Jake praising Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. What are we doing right now? Because what? What are we doing right now? We're praising Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. This is how Esau's kingdom is coming, is falling down flat, by us professing this truth. That shows you how fragile Esau's kingdom is. If a bunch of men speaking the truth is enough to bring your kingdom down, it shows you just how fragile and pathetic your kingdom actually is, man. Even more than if a mighty man. And even the scriptures talk about that. I think that is Proverbs the 16th chapter, but I'm not sure. How he that ruleth his spirit is better than he that taketh the city. Let me get that. Yeah, Proverbs 16 verse 30, Proverbs 16 verse 32. Proverbs 16 verse 32. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty man. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. Right? And who has more rule over his spirit upon all the camps that are out here than the men of great millstone, okay? That is showing you exactly who the Most High is dealing with. He that has rule over his spirit better than he that taketh a city. So no matter how big, strong, mighty you are, if you're not big, strong, and mighty in this truth, man, pun intended anyway, if you're not big, strong, and mighty in this truth, guess what, man? The Most High is not dealing with you. And you're not going to be able to take down any of these devils, because you have to be a fisher before you can become a hunter. That's bad right there. Because that's what the Most High, that's how the Most High has set it up. You can't become a hunter. You can't be out here. You can't be out here bringing on these devils, okay? As the scripture says, preparing for these devils, dashing their children against the stone. If you want out here trying to call your people back into this truth, okay? Trying to push this word, spread this truth, try to focus on in your praising Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, praising the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai by doing this work in wherever you are scattered. If you want doing that first and foremost, how can you say that how can you say that you are? How can you be given that spiritual power, be given that role as a hunter to hunt out these devils, to fish out these devils, if you don't even have that rule over your spirit? How can you use spiritual power, use power that is of the spirit, if you can't even rule your own spirit, okay? Because these men are out here, these kind of men, they don't have any faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's why they're taking up guns. Because if they had faith, they would know that. They will know that. I have to get that precept. I was about to butcher it. Alright, Psalms 44 verse 6, and it reads, Psalms 44 verse 6, for I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. Okay, that is plain right there. But what you not trusting? But thou hast saved us from our enemies, and hast put them to shame that hated us. In the Most High we boast all the days long, and praise thy name forever. Say loud, okay? So that's exactly what we're going to do. How do we fight against these devils? How do we fight against Esau? By praising the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you know? And if you don't like it, you know, then that means this truth is just easy for you. It's not a big deal, you know. If you don't, you know, if you feel that you know, praising the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is not enough to bring these devils down, then that's perfectly fine, you know. But you know, but as the scripture says, as for me and my household, I will do the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. And the will is what? That we should push this word, okay? Because as the scripture said that what? We are not supposed to take up arms, we're supposed to take up sword. What did Yahushua do? He rebukes Peter. You know, he rebukes Peter for cutting off, for using his sword, man. He said that what? That if this kingdom was for us, if this was our kingdom, we would have fought. But because this is not our kingdom, we will not fight for this kingdom, okay? We will not fight for a place in this kingdom. No Hebrew Israelite communities in this kingdom, man. Because guess what? You might carve out a little bit of land for yourself in Babylon. But in the kingdom, the whole universe, Yahushua will cover this whole universe for you. Alright, so let me just end it right there. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachah Kodash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit of you act, may you acquire for edified. Shalom.